Hi there, pet bosses and Pets Plus readers. Thank you for tuning in tonight for another edition of Pets Plus Live Beyond the Pages of the Magazine. Can you believe it is already March? I mean, this is the March issue of Pets Plus with this adorable pooch on the front and a huge issue about brands that indies love. And I just can't believe it's already March. I feel like this year, 2019, is zipping by. But I live in Chicago and it's finally starting to get warmer. So I'm excited about that too. I'm excited that the year is moving forward because today it felt like a heat wave. It was maybe 45 degrees. Felt like a heat wave. I loved it. So I'm excited also because a bunch of us, including the Pets Plus team and the Pet Boss Nation team, are heading to Orlando, Florida for the Global Pet Expo coming up on March 20th through the 22nd. And I hope that you're joining too. If you are going to be at the expo, I would love for you to type in the chat that you are going to be there if you're tuning in live or if you're watching a replay. Just say I'm here. Wait, I know I know you can hear me. And I also want to know if we're going to see you at Global. Now, the Pets Plus booth is, if the website is correct, the Pets Plus booth is 4039. So definitely stop by, and I think they're going to have some fun happening in their booth. And then I'm giving a couple talks. So I have a talk on Wednesday morning in the new product showcase that's about how to boss your Instagram in just 15 minutes. It's a quick little 15-minute talk, and we'll give you some strategies and tools that you can use to engage on Instagram to help drive business into your local business. So please don't miss out on that. I think it's 9:45 on Wednesday morning. And then in the afternoon at 1, I'm doing a talk about how email isn't dead. I know that a lot of you either think it's dead or you don't use it. You don't know how to make it work for your business. And so I will be teaching you for almost an hour and a half on exactly how to build your email funnels and your sequences, and also give you some suggestions for how to keep in touch with your customers regularly. So that's my second talk. And then we're doing something really cool in the afternoon called Bark Your Biz. It's kind of like a Shark Tank panel. Check out our social media if you want to learn more about that. And on Wednesday night, Pet Boss Nation is throwing a party. So I hope that you can meet us at the party. I know I see a lot of people in the chat already are going to be there, but I hope that you're there too. So go to the Pet Boss Nation Facebook page if you want more details about how to come to our party on Wednesday night. The Pets Plus team is going to be there, and you guys get to meet each other there in person. A lot of the people we've featured over the last, almost 2 years now on these Pets Plus live shows will be there. And I just would love to see you there too, to say hello. And then I have one last talk on Thursday, and that is about pricing for profit, really how to maximize your margins and get the most out of your store and the revenue that you bring in. So I really look forward to seeing you at Global. And if you're not coming to Global, I have 2 things to suggest to you. One is that you really should just look at flights and see how much it really would cost to get there. And if you can just get 1 or 2 days in, it will be a game changer for you because it's going to inspire you. You'll be able to network with people, and you can come and see Pets Plus and me. So we want to see you there. Hi, Keith. Hi, Kim. Hi, Michael and Barb. Hi, Wendy. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you all there too. Okay, we're going to dig in now tonight. Tonight, I've got a special guest with me. What we do for our Pets Plus Live Beyond the Pages is that we take you beyond the pages of each issue of the magazine, and you get to talk to guests at different stores, different guests, and we get to dig into some articles sometime. And the person we're going to interview tonight actually entered Pets Plus's Coolest Store contest. They do this every year, and we are currently in the countdown to get your submission in to be featured as a cool store. So the deadline to get featured for to potentially be a cool store in the magazine is March 15th. Okay, that's coming up in less than a week. And not even less than a week. When is it? It's March 11th right now, right? So by the end of this week, you need to get your submission in. And if you want to learn more, you go to petsplusmag.com/ACS. That's petsplusmag.com/ACS. And if you win, you get to have your picture on the cover of a magazine. We've got Jungle Bob was the very first winner of America's Coolest Store. He gets the title of America's Coolest Store and his picture on the mag. And then last year's winner was Liel. Got Liel Michelle from Bow Wow Beauty Shop. She was the winner of our 2018 America's Coolest Pet Store. So apply, and then you may be chosen to be on the cover or to get featured in the magazine throughout the coming year. So tonight is one of the cool stores that went through that process, and it's Heidi Neal of Loyal Biscuit Company. Now, I have a little bit of a background I want to give you on Heidi. So she has actually 5 locations now in Maine, okay? And where it started was actually back in the fall of 2009. Heidi had a random conversation with her husband and just said that she thought it would be really fun if she could buy her local favorite pet store, the Loyal Biscuit Company, in Rockland, Maine. And at the time, Heidi was a VP at a financial institution, and her husband really supported and encouraged her to just ask the owner to buy the business. And Heidi laughed. She was like, why would, maybe that's not going to be for sale. But then she actually did it, and the store was for sale. She quit her job and she bought her favorite pet store. Talk about the right place at the right time. People, as a business coach at Pet Boss Nation, people hire me to help them exit and sell their stores. And I always tell them, you've got to just ask your customers, find some good customers who may want to take this over, who want to take the legacy from you. And it's so easy. I guess the most common response I get actually is that these store owners are so nervous to ever tell their customers that they're ready to exit their store. But there are people out there like Heidi who want to buy their favorite pet store and make a career transition. Now though, fast forward, that was back in 2009. Fast forward, and now Heidi's successes have really come from her and her husband's hard work. In the past 9 years, they've added 4 additional locations. Wow. 4 additional locations, a treat company, and a toy company. They have 27 employees, and their primary focus is nutrition for dogs and cats. But they also carry quality toys, treats, and beds. And they have self-serve dog washes at all 5 locations. Heidi thinks that all her stores are super cool, but the store that won and that was featured in the March issue of the magazine is in Rockland. And it's in a beautiful historic building that's in her hometown. That is super cool, I think. So, all right, Heidi, please join us on camera. I would love to talk to you. Hey there.
Hello.
Hi. Does it feel that amazing that you've achieved all these successes?
Sometimes I just can't even wrap my head around it all. It's just kind of crazy. I just get up every day and do what I do and don't really think about it.
Isn't that crazy how that happens? It's just like the day to day. And then when you look back and you're like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right? We never stop to really recognize what it is that we've done.
That's right. Well, welcome to the show tonight. I would also like to congratulate you. You've got another big win recently, right? You won a Small Business of Maine award that got you all the way to Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so thank you. Thank you very much. That was quite an amazing experience. It was a few years ago now. It was in 2015. Loyal Biscuit was selected as the Small Business of the Year for the state of Maine. And with that, I got to represent our state in the National Small Business Award ceremony at the White House. We didn't win, which is perfectly fine. It was a quilting company, I think from Missouri or Michigan, that won that year. But there was 50 great businesses there, and it was truly an honor to be able to represent our state at such an event.
That's so cool. So did you find this application on your own, or someone just recommended it to you?
We actually didn't even apply. We were nominated by an SBA counselor here that I had worked with several years prior. So I didn't even know that we had been nominated for the award. So it was quite a surprise when we won.
Yes, I love that. Ooh, I wanted to get a little feedback. Um, what I am curious about too is from the beginning. I would love to go back to that beginning story that I shared there. And I want to hear a little bit more about that transition. You heard me say that, store owners that I talk to are really afraid to tell their customers that their businesses might be for sale. Can you share with us a little bit about what that experience was like?
Yeah, so she hadn't really put the fact out that the store is for sale. I had approached her with an email one day that just said, hey, is your store for sale? If it is, or not even is your store for sale, if you guys ever want to sell, I'd love to at least have the opportunity to talk to you about it. And she wrote back and said, the store is for sale. If we don't have a buyer by Christmas, we're closing. And that was on December 15th. So it was kind of a very quick turnaround, and just holy smokes, everything happened all at once. But she had never publicized that the store was for sale with her customers at that point. It really was just being at the right place at the right time.
I love it. And look at everything you've accomplished. Why don't you fast forward for us, like what the progression's been like in your growth?
Sure. So we started in Rockland in January of 2010 is when we took over. It was just me for the first 10 months of the first year every day. It was in September of 2010 that one of our customers, someone I had actually gone to high school with, came in one day and said, if you ever need help, my kids are all in school now. I'd love to just come in and help you if you need a day off. So I was like, okay, sure. Nice to know. She's still with us. She's actually our Rockland store manager and our very first employee. So she's still here almost 10 years later. Shortly after that, well, about a year and a half after that, we started talking about expanding, and we're looking at different communities to go to. And we had settled on Belfast, which is about 45 minutes north of here on Route 1. Just a really great dog community. Found a great spot, everything. So we kind of took the leap. I had 2 employees at that point working in Rockland, and I opened Belfast. Joel and I renovated the whole space, and I worked up there for a good 4 or 5 months as the only employee, driving back and forth 45 minutes a day to get that store up and running. About 6 months after opening our Belfast store, we had the opportunity to purchase a store in Camden, which is in between Rockland and Belfast. So it was kind of one of those opportunities that we couldn't pass up, because I didn't want someone else coming in to buy a store right in between our 2 stores already. But we were only 6 months old in Belfast, and it was definitely not the right time for us at all. But we couldn't pass up the opportunity. So we purchased, our 3rd store was a purchase of an existing.
So how did that?
So in an interesting turn of events, when we bought the Rockland store, the person that we bought it from moved away. She then decided she wanted to come back and open a store in Camden. And long story short, she did. But we had right of first refusal on that store. We kind of thought we'd have a couple of years to get Belfast under our belt before she would sell. And she didn't even stay there a year. So we were fortunate that we did build in the right of first refusal on it. So we had the first right to buy it, but we just, we weren't quite ready. But we took the leap and we did it. It was pretty crazy there for a while. We had to add to staff really quickly. We hadn't written any procedures. We hadn't written an employee handbook. It was just 3 of us prior to that. So it was a very hectic time for sure. And that was in February 2012. So we then took a couple of years off to kind of get ourselves situated. We started the treat company. April, who's our general manager here, April and I started the treat company about the same time as Belfast. Then we did Camden. And then after that, we started the toy company. And then in August of 2014, we opened our 4th store in Waterville, and that was a brand new store. And that's about an hour and 20 minutes away from us here in Rockland, and got that started. And then in August of 2017, we just added our 5th store, which is in Brewer, which is just outside of Bangor, which is another hour and 40 minutes away.
Oh my goodness. And so now, are you just like a glutton for punishment here with all these businesses, or are you, I mean, I say that like jokingly, of course, like I just know that from my own experiences, scaling to 3 businesses in 3 years, I didn't have a lot of the operations in place, and it was just this wobbly bus for a really long time. And then, but for you, I mean, you've scaled like I did, but then you just kept going, and which is awesome. So, but is that driven? What is that driven by? Because we meet a lot of entrepreneurs who they just sometimes can't even imagine a bigger vision for their company than just getting through the day-to-day in their shops. So what do you think is different about Loyal Biscuit Company and you guys?
I think, for me, being in business means you're in business because you want to grow. I mean, in my mindset, what's the point of being in business if you're not going to grow? And, trying to figure that out and navigate that is definitely a challenge. I for sure like the challenge. I find that I think I'm very driven and very hardworking, and I get bored really easily too. So, when you just kind of get in and you get settled and you get a routine, it's like, okay, I need something else. I need something more. Like, how can I make this more challenging again? So it always just kind of seemed to hit in these cycles where it's like, all right, right now I'm good for now, but give me another 6 months, I'll be bored and be like, okay, I need another one.
Yeah, you're a true entrepreneur. Okay, so then you've brought up your treat company and the toy company. How were they started, and what were their original inception ideas? Like how they come about?
Sure. So the treat company was actually April's idea. April at the time was just a customer, not just a customer, but was a customer. And she had brought this idea to me at the store, and she wanted to make her own dog biscuits. April's actually a scientist. She's incredibly smart. She developed this whole recipe, and but was at a point in her life where she just wanted to see how this would go. So she developed the recipe, came up with the whole concept, the whole idea, but wanted to brand it with a well-known brand in our market, in our area. So she had approached me with that. We decided to partner together, and I also hired her. So she became a part-time employee of ours at the time, but then also did most of the work for the treat company. She did all the baking, packaging, dealing with orders. I really just did the marketing and social media aspect of it. We sold them not only in our stores, but to many other gift shops and retailers throughout mostly New England. As we've grown there, like even just the demand within our own stores, we kind of reached a point where we've had to scale back selling to others because she bakes them all by herself. And it was either we're going to grow this and make it huge, or we're just going to keep it as an in-house brand. So we actually decided not too long ago to really just keep it as an in-house brand. And they're our own treat line. So we do very little with wholesale in that right now, just because we couldn't keep up. She couldn't keep up with the demand of our own stores.
I love your now, and it looks like it has is that the same dog in your Loyal Biscuit Company logo? And now you've just so it's a similar branding, but it's its own line.
It is. It's our dog. Which is my dog Fenway, and she's our original logo. When we first started the treat company, it was actually called Loyal Biscuit Treat Company, and we got a nice little cease and desist letter from a large manufacturer of pet food called Loyal, Loyall, huge company. Sent us a little cease and desist on that. So we ended up having to change our name for that, which we never would have competed with them in the first place. But so we held a little contest, and we asked our customers to come up with names, and whoever won, we gave them a year's supply of treats. So we went with Fidelis, which actually means loyal in Latin. So technically, it still says Loyal Biscuit Treat Company.
Yeah, I love that. I just apologize for the feedback if you guys hear that. Okay, so then we've got the Tug Me toy.
Yeah.
Now, what I love about this toy is that it has a really important message and cause behind it. So I'd love for you to tell us about Tug Me toy, and then I want to talk about how you even got this program going.
So the tug toy was actually also another business in Portland. It was a lady and her son had made these toys, and we'd carried them since we'd taken over the store. They were a great tug toy. And her son had graduated from college and was moving away, and she just didn't want to do it anymore. So she approached us about taking it over, which we did. And we had a few friends help us, and we were braiding them ourselves and stuff. It takes a lot of time. They take a lot of muscle because they're very tight. So you need to be very strong to braid them because they're all hand braided. And through my husband's military service and connections that he had in the military, we were able to make connections through the Maine State Prison. And the toys are now made through the local prison. And it's a great little program that we have going on. All the fleece comes here. My dad actually works for us and cuts them all into strips down in the basement. And I package them all up when I get to choose the colors. I send it off to the prison. They braid it. So there's no tools involved. There's nothing like that. They just braid. It just takes time and muscle. And they come back to us. My dad cuts the ends off of them and tags them. And we sell them on our website and in our stores. And then like Planet Dog is actually one of our biggest retailers here in the state of Maine.
I love it. So if somebody that's watching wanted to start a program like that, where maybe they're making a toy or cookie, something they want to give and get a program like that, whether it's the prison system or whether it's special needs or whether it's a kids school program, underprivileged youth, anything like that. What advice do you have to somebody to just get started in a program like that?
I would definitely just start the conversation with the different organizations. We actually met with a special.
There we go. I got you back.
Okay. We had a conversation with an organization that worked with special needs and talked about whether this was a good fit for them or not. We worked with the prison. We just had several conversations with different organizations just to get it started and to see if it was even a good fit. So I would just start by having those conversations and finding those resources and going from there.
Because you've sold, how many toys do you typically sell in a year?
Not a ton. I'll be honest, not a ton. They're both the treats and the toys are just this little subset of the Loyal Biscuit. They help support our brand. We're very passionate about them here at the store and everything, but they're pretty tiny businesses.
Okay, well, speaking of your brand, you have a beautiful store. I've got some photos now that I'm going to share. And let's see, I'll go back to sharing my screen. Okay. Now, what I love that you do through I'm assuming it's through all your locations and the different storefronts, is that you've got the bright green and you've got your dog logo, and you really bring that color, the really bright, bold colors throughout. And I haven't been to your stores, but I feel like they're really playful. So you've done a really good job branding the physical spaces. And, I think your website too. Why is branding important to you?
Branding is important to me because I think it's important to have that same look and feel. No matter what Loyal Biscuit you walk into, you know it's a Loyal Biscuit. You know where you are. You know what to expect from service, from products. There's no question that you're in one of our stores. In my previous life, I worked in finance, and I actually was a marketing manager for quite some time. And my boss was very big on branding. Her previous life included accounts such as McDonald's. So she had a strong branding background. And I think a lot of that really just kind of rubbed off on me. And it's very important to me to make sure that what we're doing is consistent, and that our look is consistent, and that everything is us and speaks us. And so, every store is mostly, I call it Loyal Biscuit Green. That's not truly what it's called, but I call it Loyal Biscuit Green. They all have the same 3 different accent colors of the purple, the teal, and the orange. The dog is everywhere. The cat we just started to incorporate a few years ago because everyone thought we were just dog. So we've started to incorporate the cat into a lot of our branding as well.
I love it. And then you have a lot of fun with your team too. So not only do you, have a great impact to your community, you really get involved as a company to grow the team and have a wonderful company culture. What are you doing here in this photo?
This was at our annual party. The first Sunday in January, we close and we all go to a local bowling alley. We rent out the whole facility for the afternoon. We have it catered. We do pizza, cupcakes, food, all kinds of stuff. And then we have all the lanes open. We do a little bit of trivia. I like to ask them all. We put them in different teams and they battle for prizes of, how many cat cans did we sell last year and how many pounds of food did we sell last year. So I pull different stats of what we've done and have a little game and a quiz with them. And we eat and we have a great time and we bowl. They all get gifts. This year they all got new shirts and we give them Loyal Biscuit branded water bottles as well with all their names on them. So they'd have water bottles because we're trying to go green in 2019. So they all got reusable bottles.
I love it. No, well, one, that's a beautiful photo of you. Okay, cool. This one here looks like a special event.
No, it was just, I have a friend that's a photographer and she did a little session and I was like, I need a picture because people keep asking me for one.
Oh yeah, your photo. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, but then now we've got the Harry Potter.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see the Harry Potter photo. There's the Harry Potter photo. Yeah, so we did Harry Potter this is our brewer store. We did that last August, I believe. And that's mostly staff and then some of their friends that came in and joined with us. I know nothing about Harry Potter. I'm so confused over the whole thing. I'm like, just tell me what you need me to do and I'll be there. But our events manager and our brewer manager are huge Harry Potter fans, and they did a great job putting this all together. And again, my terminology is off, but they had owl post that they sent the letters out via owl post, I think is what it's called. And they had a biscuit bar where we got to, they could mix their own biscuits together. We had a mixing station. They all got magical wands, which was either a bully stick or a codfish skin. They could choose from any of those when they came in. They got a little cauldron to put all their goodies in. We had different photo sessions or stations throughout the store, like the one you had just seen, and then platform 9 3/4. And I don't understand a lot of it, but people had fun and it was a blast. We're actually going to do it here in Rockland in April. So we're going to do it again. But they did a really great job with it. I'm very proud of what they did.
Yeah, I think that what's unique about that is that you took a theme, you had a special event, and you really went big. As the expression goes, go big or go home, right? It was like everyone was in costume. You had all these things. You had all these layers and layers and layers of fun, which ideally that would bring people in and drive revenue. But what it will say, even if it doesn't have an immediate impact with the first time you do it, for those of you watching, the people who come are going to be wowed. They're going to think it's so cool, and they're not going to miss any event you do moving forward.
Yeah. Hopefully. But the people in Brewer are still talking about it, and I still have people posting on our Facebook pages. We're promoting the Rockland one. The Brewer people are commenting on it and how much fun it was, and that everyone should go. So it should be a really fun event here.
Yeah. So your husband's name is Joel, right?
Yes.
Yeah. He's in the chat thread making sure and making comments that I'm going to make you watch all the movies now.
I keep falling asleep during them. I can't help it. I try, but I fall asleep.
I don't understand that, Heidi. I like you. I love you, but I don't get it. I love the Harry Potter movies. And I love that Joel's also taking credit for the walls that he's painted, all those bright colors.
He painted the logo that's on that big wall that you see. He did that.
I love it. And I love that you have a partnership together, because his career wasn't being, a small business dog boutique owner either, right? So
no.
how do you guys work together as a couple to grow the company?
Well, he still has his jobs, and he has a pretty demanding job with what he does for his career. So he helps me when I really need it. He's great with employee relations. If we have discipline issues and things like that, I tend to be the one that gets super almost too emotionally involved, so that I can't separate myself out from it. Whereas he, through all of his military and police training, he has that ability to just go in and deal with it nicely and politely, but emotion free, which is really nice. he is definitely my sounding board whenever anything good or exciting or bad or whatever is going on, or I just need to go home and cry my eyes out. Like, he's the one that's there and gets me through it. I also like to refer to him as my maintenance man, because he can build anything. So I will have these ideas of what I want it to look like. And like when we built our treat section here, I'm like, okay, I see it. This is what I want. And he can build it and make it happen. So we do really great together with renovations, and taking my ideas, and he can put those into place for me.
I love it. He's my rock. How, I guess, like, if you're open to sharing it, like, what is it that makes you guys work well together? Have you always communicated well together? I mean, I meet a lot of couples that are in business together, and sometimes it's like the perfect marriage in work and life. And then sometimes, there's a lot of conflict. What do you guys do differently to make it a success?
I don't think we have much conflict at all. I think we actually get along very well. And I've joked with him before, and I've told him that I don't know that he and I could work all day, every day together, by all means. But the way that we work now, it works really well. I think that we're very opposite people. I think we both bring a lot of different things to the table. We're very, very different. But I think we also have a great respect for each other and what it is that we do and what we do each bring to the table, which I think lets us get a lot accomplished. We're both very talented people. He's a hard worker, and we don't stop until it's done.
Right. Yeah. We've got another person chatting in there that they work with their daughter, and they can be a little hard-headed sometimes. And I've seen that too. The mother-daughter stores can be tough and challenging. But it does. It all comes down to communication. And I think what you said there, respect. So you can't both always be right all the time and try to, get your way. There has to be a balance, and there has to be set roles, right? One person works on these things, one person works on the other, and you can have a discussion about it. But ultimately, it's kind of what's best for the business and also for each other to grow together. All right. So we've talked about your husband, but I know that you treat the rest of your team like family as well. And we got to see the outing that you just went on, but there's a lot of other things that you do. And you've mentioned in the article, like empowering the team to make decisions and to trust their instincts. So I know that that's not always hard and or not easy to do. And sometimes they may not have the right instincts. So tell us more about how you've been able to, I guess, have your team run these companies, because now that you've grown so much, you and Joel cannot be at all of these locations.
Absolutely. I can't be in 5 places at once at all. And, I have to trust my staff, and I have to trust that I've trained them enough to make the decision that I would make in the store. And, I think from day one of the things we stress more than anything else is taking care of our customer. Their job is to take care of their customer. My job is to take care of my staff. So I work hard to give my staff the tools that they need to do their job, which is to take care of the customer. And we hammer that from day one. And they have the tools, they have the resources to make those decisions. They have each other too. So if they're ever not quite sure about something, they can call any of the other stores. They can chat with anybody else. Like we've all been trained the same way, and we've all been trained to that same mentality. So, my hope is that they all stop and think, well, what would Heidi do in this situation? And that I've trained them to think like me and to make that call and to just take care of the customer, because that's where it all starts.
Mm-hmm. What tools do you use to communicate with each other?
Oh, so we use Slack for like just random day-to-day conversation. Do you have this in your store? Someone's coming your way, whatever type of thing is. We use a lot of email, which used to always be great. I find it to not be quite as good right now. We're working on trying to find some other ways. I think the email's kind of gotten a little inundated. There's too much information going out that way. So we've been trying to do some videos as well with Loom, and just doing some free videos out there, and we can categorize those all with different subjects and stuff. So that's been a pretty cool little tool as well. And then just, calling on the phone and checking in. We have a LBC team Facebook page as well, where that we don't really do any store communications there. It's just a fun lighthearted, posting jokes, few pictures of dogs that were in the store type of environment.
Mm-hmm. I love that too. We have one for our doggy daycare, Dogaholics, and it's been one. It is fun when you see something on your feed and you're like, "Oh, this is either a great article I could share with them, or a funny thing too." But what we found is just a place to record those videos. You know, in Chicago, my boyfriend's been helping with the daycare, and we installed an outdoor heat lamp for the dog handlers when they're when the weather's a little chilly and they have to take the dogs out. And so he did a whole video of an instructional video of here's how it works, here's how you use it, don't spray it with a hose, those little things. And so it's just easy for anyone on the team to get their phone and upload a how-to video or quick little, something to just inform everybody. So it's really helpful to have a team Facebook page. Okay, and then you also, what I love is that you mentioned in the article that you give them all, each store gets a budget to each month to do something fun. Tell us more about that.
Sure. So all of our managers, we equipped all of our managers with credit cards, with company credit cards, and they have a budget. So they have, depending upon the size of their store, they've got a budget that they can treat their staff to either coffee, take them out to lunch, order them lunch, fill the back room with candy, whatever it is each store might want. They can pick and choose, or they can do whatever they want with that budget that to reward their staff and to take care of their staff.
Okay, so people watching that are like, wait a second, you gave people credit cards, and they're freaking out, how do you monitor that? I just know it's again, your mindset was bigger. It was bigger. You were faster. You were scaling. You were growing. And now, but a lot of people are even afraid to give people a key to their front door or to leave them alone in their shop when there's cash around and they're not around. So you've already spoken about trust, but where does that come from?
I think that you have to trust them, because you can't be in every place at every time. And so, it comes from being with people and working with people and hoping that you hired the right people. I won't say I haven't gotten burned. We've been burned. Absolutely. But I think that we have good policies and procedures in place. And when we do get burned, those policies and procedures get even stricter to find where it was that we went wrong. But we have an online, we have an intranet, and there's a form on there. So whenever they use their card, they have to record what their receipt is and submit the receipts. We match them up. We, of course, reconcile our bank accounts and our credit card statements every month. Their cards have a very small balance, so it's not like they can go buy thousands and thousands of dollars of stuff. They have a very small credit limit just to do what it is that they need to do. But they need to take care of their staff. And if they need supplies, Brewer is an hour and 40 minutes away. I can't run and grab them toilet paper when they're out of toilet paper. So Ashley needs to go take care of that stuff for her store as well. So it's just easier for me and easier for them to have a way to pay for that stuff.
Yeah, when you let go, it does open up your freedom too.
Absolutely.
Okay, so when it has come to your team and that growth, what successes have you seen that have worked really well, and what obstacles have you had to overcome?
Successes, I think I love being able to promote from within and seeing our staff grow and want to take on those bigger responsibilities. Mel started with us as a part-time person in Rockland, and became our Rockland manager. At one point, she actually became our general manager. And she actually missed being on the floor. She missed the customers. She didn't like the back end side of it. She wanted to be back on the floor. So she went back there, which is a great fit for her, and she loves that piece of it. Chelsea, who is now our events and promotions manager, started out as a part-time floater between two of our stores. She became our Belfast manager. And then when she got married and was moving to Skowhegan, she asked me to open her store in Waterville, which I laughed at her, but look what I did. I opened a store in Waterville. She was my manager there. And then we had this events and operations position open up, and she wanted that, and she does great at it. She does a great job. It's a perfect fit for her. So I love being able to see people grow and kind of take ownership of what it is that they're good at and what it is that they enjoy. Whether it's, learning more about the nutrition aspect and passing that on to other staff members, or creating signage or whatever it is that it is that they like to do. I like to see them expand their horizons.
So if I get this correct, you had a team member who was going to move, and instead of opening her own store, said to you, let's open one together, or like, you're going to open my store so I have a job at this new town. I mean, that's pretty amazing. Again, we hear more stories of people who their team has left and they're going to open a competing business nearby. I mean, that's really, really special. So what is it again that you think that you do that is creating these relationships, so that they want to be part of what you're building versus competing with you?
I don't know. That's a great question. I think it's because I take care of my staff. They are really my number one priority, and my job is to take care of them. And we do treat people like family. We actually had an employee move to Denver in January. She's coming back for 2 weeks in April and wants to come back and work while she's here. Like, who goes away and comes back and says, can I work for you while I'm back in Maine for 2 weeks? So I think we do a good job at creating a very fun environment, and having a good time while still doing what we need to do and get things done. And I think we all just actually truly care about each other and want to help each other and want to be here and work together.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you, is your family like that? Do you have, I don't know anything about your extended family, but I know that you are now back in your hometown. So your hometown means a lot to you. So I just don't know if your family is also like that.
So I think my family is very nurturing and very caring. My family is very old-fashioned, I guess is one way to say it. My mom has been in her same job for 45 years. My dad was in his job forever until he retired. The day that I told them I was quitting my safe, secure job, they about lost their minds and thought I was crazy. And, it was not a fun conversation, but, they got over it, and obviously we succeeded, and now they're very proud. But, I think my family is very nurturing in that regard, but definitely I took a different path than I think the rest of my family.
So where does that courage come from?
I don't know. I would say them though, still. Like, they were super supportive parents. They are super supportive parents. They've always encouraged me to do my best and to go above and beyond, and to work for what I wanted. And, I was never handed the car. I was never handed that stuff. If that's what I wanted, I had to work for it. And it helped me. They put together a plan for me to get there. We did that together, but, I had to earn what it was that I wanted.
Mm-hmm. I heard, well, actually I was just at my mentor, I do mentoring, but I believe in mentorship. So I have a mentor too. And then we were just together this weekend, and they said that there was an activity that we did. Basically, it's kind of a funny little game. But anyway, the purpose of it was to prove to us that you got to go for what you want. You just got to go get it. It's out there. You just got to go get it. And then when I started thinking more even about like my own point of view and what I believe, and about even what's happened in my own career, and I think it's probably similar for you, is that our courage is just stronger than our fears. There's a lot of people live in the fear of what if that, or what if this is going to happen, or what if I can't afford it, or what if that team member is going to steal from me, or what if this. And the what ifs are going to prevent you from scaling, to your point, and growing, and to having abundance. So I do believe, your courage is just stronger than your fear.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. And, things happen. We've had 2 different employees steal from us. But if I didn't have employees and I didn't have people there and I didn't hire people, I couldn't continue to grow and be where I am. So, we learn from it and move forward and make it better.
That's right. All right, everybody, we've got about 15 minutes left. If you're tuning in live, if you have any questions, you can just type them in the chat, and I'd be happy to ask Heidi those questions, or you can ask me questions. I also would love to learn more about the fact that you've stayed in your hometown, or they've come back to your hometown, and what significance that might have to I guess, is there a significance to why you stayed there, and what the future is for Loyal Biscuit Company?
Yeah. So, I was born and raised here, and my whole family is here. I did go away to college. I went to Waterville to college, so I was very familiar with Waterville anyway when we opened a store over there. But I didn't go far. I went an hour and 20 minutes away. When I graduated college, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. At that point in time, I was a little unsure, and that's when I just started working in a bank. I came back home, started working in a bank, and then I just kind of stayed and never left. I just, Rockland is small. There's 8,000 people here. It's a small population. Everybody, and sometimes that's good and sometimes that's not, especially when you're in high school and you do some things you shouldn't, because it all goes back to mom and dad. But for the most part, it's a really great thing to have that connection with a lot of people here. And I think when I started, I think that was a huge piece for us, because the former owner wasn't from here and didn't have a large circle of friends here or a lot of contacts or knew a lot of people. And, when I took over, I was fortunate to have, not only my family, but, everyone that I had met through banking. I was in Rotary. I had worked with Habitat for Humanity. I worked with the Maine Lobster Festival. So I have this huge network of people here that, wanted to support me and see what it was that I was doing. And that, I think, really helped us build a really strong, solid foundation here in Rockland because of being here and knowing the people and having connections to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that support is amazing. It can really help in difficult times, and then you can even be there when you're so connected to your community. You can be there for people and they have their difficult times too. Stephanie is curious what size of the towns what size the towns are that your stores are in.
Sure. Maine is a pretty small state in terms of population. Rockland has a population of 8,000. Camden, I want to say, is about 4,500, 5,000-ish people. Belfast is about 7-ish. Waterville has about 16,000 people. And Brewer, I kind of consider Brewer Bangor together. And honestly, I have no idea, but it's the second biggest city in the state. So I don't know, maybe between Bangor and Brewer, there might be 60,000. I may be way off. I'm not sure, but it's definitely the biggest market that we're in.
Yeah, those are some pretty tiny towns.
Yes, they are.
So what does the future look like for the Loyal Biscuit Company? Are there more stores in your future or more product lines? What's going to happen?
Probably not more product lines. I can't think of what else I would do there, but who knows? But as for more stores, I would like to think so. I'm not sure where. Like I said, Maine's a pretty small state. There's not a lot of populated areas that don't already have an independent pet store in them. And I think one of the nice things about Maine is that we are all pretty respectful of each other. So I would never go open a store in Bath or Damariscotta where there are independent stores already. Like, we're actually friends with these people. So, unless someone decides to sell or close and an opening, a vacancy comes up, I'm not really sure where I would go at this point in time. But we'll see. Yeah, I'd like to have more. I just don't have a plan for it yet.
No, if any of those other Maine stores are watching and they want to exit their businesses, call Heidi.
Right.
There you go. Let's put that out there. All right. So I'm curious what you're looking forward to in 2019 in the pet industry. Are there any trends that you're looking forward to, or things you plan on bringing in to tell your customers about?
I think that for us, we're going to continue to expand our focus on raw and fresh foods. We were pretty slow to start in that. Like, we all understood it. We all understood the benefits of it. But we all found it still pretty hard to sell. We're in a very big dog market, and that makes it very expensive. And so trying to get over that barrier has been a little bit of a challenge for us. Last spring, Lindsay came up from Primal and did a great training with our staff and really, really inspired our staff and really kind of taught us how to change that story and how to just start to incorporate some. And so we've done really well with our raw sales since then. We actually have a new freezer coming to Rockland next week. We just got a new freezer in Camden a few weeks ago. So that piece is really starting to take off. I think also for us, this is a good year for us to do some refreshing as well in our stores. You know, some of our stores are 7, 8, 9 years old now, and really could stand a new floor and some new shelving and some change and some sprucing up. So I think this summer that's going to happen to at least one, if not two, of our stores.
All right, get ready, Joel. You hear that?
Yeah, right? I already told them. And we're not closing. So we're going to be doing it at night and section by section because we're not closing. So you've already been warned.
Stephanie's also curious how many items you carry in each store.
Ooh.
Like, I mean, maybe not exact items, but, you know, Stephanie, I think, is also in a smaller town, and she's got, you know, I know Stephanie, and I think she's got the bird store. So they do a lot of bird, but they're trying to expand into other areas. And so I think she's just curious, probably.
Yeah.
How many dog food lines are you carrying?
To see how many. I have probably about 10 different brands of dry dog food, probably 10 to 12 different brands of dry dog food that I carry. Probably like 8 or 9 dry cat. We carry quite a bit of canned cat, probably 7, 8, 9 different brands of that. We've got 4 different brands of raw that we carry, plus, you know, all the toys, treats, beds, supplements, all of that stuff as well.
Yeah, you got to carry that higher margin stuff. Yeah,
we probably, I think we want to say we have about 4,500 SKUs.
Okay. Yeah, Stephanie, she's laughing at what I said because she's like, we're in a huge town compared to them. So, but not quite like Chicago where I live though.
Yeah.
All right. So, if you had some habits or traits that you think successful people, whether you've had them in your own career or mentors or people that you look up to have, what traits would those be?
Wow, that's a really good question.
I didn't give you that one in advance.
Right? Habits or traits? I guess it would be considered a trait. I think, you know, for me, and I think you have to have a desire to succeed. You have to have a strong work ethic. And I think the other piece that has proven for us to be important is just that desire to help people. And that's one of the things I look for when I hire people too, is I don't care what your background is. I don't care if you have any retail or pet experience whatsoever. You have to have a desire to want to help people, because that's what we're here to do, is to help people. And you've got to be nice. Those are kind of my 2 requirements when it comes to hiring people, is you've got to be nice. You've got to have that personality that wants to help people with what it is that they're looking for. I think that's a really important trait.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Stephanie, thanks you for sharing your SKUs and giving her lots of interesting ideas. So guys, if you have questions and you want to chime in here, please type them in the chat. And I've got a couple more here in case you guys jump in. So these 2 questions come up a lot in some of the conversations sometimes. Here we go. Now that people are posting some things. But what's the most difficult decision you've had to make in the last 6 months, and what made it difficult?
Ooh. I think it was with the treats. I think it was our decision to actually scale it back instead of grow it. April has taken on a new role here as our operations manager, and she's doing a great job with it. And you know, we're building a really strong partnership in running everything, and she's enjoying it. So I think the decision to scale that back was definitely a hard one for us, because you never want to really see your business scale back, but it was the right thing for us at this time. So I think that was probably the hardest one we've had so far.
Yeah, and you can't change that in the future, but it's just about priorities and doing what's most important.
Yeah.
This one also comes up a lot. What's in your number 1 source of new business, other than opening new stores?
I think it varies a little bit by market, honestly. Here in the Rockland, Camden market, we have some really great relationships with a couple of veterinarians, which I know doesn't always happen in the industry. They send us a ton of people. We've been very fortunate. We've got a great relationship with them. As far as the other markets, I really think it's a lot of word of mouth and social media, and asking people to refer us, and people talking about what great experiences they've had, and how the food has helped their pet or what have you. So I really think a lot of it is just word of mouth and having people try and promote your brand on social media to get people in.
Do you have strategies that have worked really well to get people to promote your brand on social media?
Not on a consistent basis, no.
Yeah.
We did on our 5th anniversary, we built these life-size pictures of our logo and with a birthday hat and everything. And we encouraged people to come in and have their dog's picture taken with the life-size Fenway. And if they posted on social media and used the hashtag LBC, they got a free duck foot or free cod skin or whatever, kind of to push us. But what I should have done is check what the hashtag LBC went to, because it's Long Beach, California, Long Beach, Compton, California. And so there's some really interesting other photos out there under the hashtag of LBC. So lesson learned. But we do, a lot with Instagram and Facebook, and just really publishing the photos of the dogs that come in. And then people love to share photos of their dogs that were posted on our page, and really just kind of doing that. So
yeah, we find at the doggy daycare now that people love to post photos at the end of the night with their dogs sleeping on the couch, and it's always like exhausted from dogaholics, they're exhausted from doggy daycare. That's exactly like what people want, right? They want their dog to get tired. And so Wendy's actually asking if you do any pet related services.
The only thing we have is self-service dog wash. That's it. We don't do any grooming, walking, dog sitting. We don't do any of that. We have lists in all of our stores. What's that?
Is there a reason that you aren't doing that?
Grooming, we actually had an opportunity to offer grooming. We had a groomer next door to us in our brewer store, and she left and went to another location. So there was already a spot there. Up here, finding groomers is definitely a challenge. They're very few and far between. And I think that I would be incredibly particular about who we had for a groomer, and there's just not that many to choose from. And so honestly, I've been a little scared to go down that road, because you build them, you get them, you have this business, and then they leave you, and there's not an excess supply of groomers to pull from. Then you no longer have this piece of business, but now you have the rent and everything that goes with it. That I just haven't been comfortable pulling that trigger yet. As for the other services, I never really thought about it. My hands have always just been full with what it is that we already have. But who knows what the future brings? Maybe that's one of the things we're adding in the next few years. Who knows?
Joel's mentioning that you guys do nail clipping clinics and tagging and ID tagging and things like that. So actually, Stephanie's curious how the nail clipping clinics work.
Sure. So we actually have, thank you, Joel, for reminding me what we do. We have people come in from the shelters and from rescue organizations 1 day a month for 2 hours. They come in, they actually do all the clippings. We charge $10 per animal, and that money, 100% of the funds goes to the shelter. So we don't take anything from that. We just host the location and promote it. They come in, they do the clippings, and we typically, gosh, I want to say last year we ended up donating probably $8,000 or $9,000 to different rescues and organizations from the nail clipping clinics. And then once a year we do microchipping clinics we partner with our local shelters, and we have them here. And again, 100% of the proceeds go to the shelter.
Yeah, I will say I've heard that those free nail trim days at stores bring in a ton of people. So definitely something to consider. All right. Frank's curious if you have competition from national chains in those little towns, Petco, PetSmart, Tractor Supply, Pet Value, any of those?
We do have some. We do. So Rockland has a Tractor Supply. Camden and Belfast right now don't have anything, but a Tractor Supply is slated to come to Belfast. Waterville has Tractor Supply, and there's a Petco about 20 minutes from us in Augusta. And then Brewer has Petco, PetSmart, Tractor Supply. They have all three up there.
So they exist. The big ones still exist, but
they do.
There's room for us little guys too, right?
That's right.
All right. Well, Heidi, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I know that you have some last words of wisdom that you live by and that you love and want to share.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is actually an African proverb that I found, and it's the header of our team Facebook page. And it's, if you want to travel fast, go alone. But if you want to travel far, go together. So I think that really kind of talks about who we are and that we're all in this together and that we work together great as a team to accomplish big things.
Yes. Yes. I love that. I love that. And I love that you use an inspirational quote as the header of your Facebook group for the team. So
yes.
Thanks there. So, okay, guys, everybody for tuning in tonight, thank you so much. I know you've got a lot of ways to spend your evening, and so spending it with me and Heidi and Pets Plus Magazine means so much. We hope to see you at Global Pet Expo. And if you're not going to be at Global, our next Pets Plus Live Beyond the Pages are happening in April. I have the dates for you if you want to jot them down. But on April 9th at 12 p.m. Eastern is the Lunch and Learns that I've been doing about the articles that I write. And so our April article is just business tools that I love to help you with marketing, growth, and team. So I'm going to share those tools with you and how you can use them in your business. And that's on Tuesday, April 9th at 12 p.m. Eastern. And then you've noticed Wendy in the chat here. Wendy is actually the cool store for April, who's going to be our feature, and she has Muddigans. Muddigans is a cool tourist town pet store that also has a coffee shop and gift items, and they do lots of special events. And so her interview is on Tuesday, April 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern, her cool store interview. So, all right, everybody, thank you again for tuning in. Thank you, Heidi. Are you going to be at Global?
I will be.
All right. We'll see you there.
You got it. I'm ready for that warm weather.
Yes, me too. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.